My name is Faith Maynard.
My name is Robert Hillman.
Brian Landis.
Jody Hedges.
I've been booking since, was it 2011, October?
Here.
Yeah, here, yeah.
And I've rarely booked, I've booked like a couple of shows, but I just help run everything here at Whitler to make sure, everything goes smooth and all the bands play when they're supposed to play, etc.
We hosted punk rock basement shows in our house from March of 1998 through April of 2009.
I'd say I started setting up shows maybe like a dozen years ago.
I honestly can't remember. The first one here was Halloween 2011, so this Halloween will be like our fourth Halloween show, 30-year anniversary for Whitler.
Yeah.
We had our first show actually in October of 96. We had another one New Year's of 97 and another one August of 97. But it wasn't until March of 1998 where we actually fell in with some punk kids and said, hey, let's make this happen. And we had our first show.
The first? Can I just skip to the first one that would matter at all? The end of January 2005, the Mockbee, it was called it was some asinine title like Brutal Cincinnati Damage, and it was something that I was doing to try to break the ice with working with what was then the Art Damage radio show and all the noise guys from back then, but it wasn't limited to just noise or the overtly avant-garde. I was having any kind of punk bands or pretty much anybody who was down to mix it up and defy precedent of just the stale, homogeneous shows that would be going on around here.
I mean, I think that might have been the most packed we were, because Reagan Youth was really good and there was a lot of people, but they were very spread out. It was a lot of scene kids hanging outside, and then other kids were in here to actually hear the band. But for Daikaiju, everybody came and they totally supported Daikaiju. Everybody was in the basement. It was really cool. So that was probably the biggest show I think that we've had here as far as attendance wise. So
I would say the biggest problem that I've had to deal with in the context of DIY shows in Cincinnati hasn't been fighting. A lot of my shows, most of the time there's no fighting, and people know that if there is fighting, chances are I'm probably just gonna say it. The show's off, fuck off, go home. This isn't, this isn't supposed to be that kind of thing at all.
And we have literally not had very much trouble with violence so far as when we've had to experience any kind of violence. It's been literally with the same 1 to 2 people, and I mean they just don't keep them in jail long enough, I guess. And the guy's just a real turd. But otherwise, everybody seems to be fairly supportive.
When you have a big show now, all these years later, I call them party vultures. There's folks that show up specifically to find out who they can pick a fight with.
And some people are like, I'm not going to go there because it's this certain crowd. And then a lot of the things we've had happen, though, is that people that wouldn't normally come here do, and they're not just pleasantly surprised. They're just like, this is awesome, I'm coming back.
It's do it yourself, even at the level of starting the conversation, starting people dancing, helping out just in any way, It's what separates these from the shows that are just at these overt, cold, callous business settings.
But I think that the pros to having a show in your house as to having a show at a bar is a business. It really is a business. That is somebody's money and livelihood and somebody's job on the line, and you can't go in there and act a fool. And I'm not saying that that's what we do, but really we get to do whatever we want. We can play when we want. We can play as late as we want. And it's an all ages thing.
You've got to make it happen, not wait for people who are paid to do the job to do it for you. You know, that is what sets us apart.